What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight, Season 18, The Reunion Part 2. This season, like every single season with Married at First Sight, has gone on too damn long. This season is hella long. The episodes are hella long, and we're not even finished, y'all. There is one more episode coming up next week. I am so sick and tired of seeing these people. Okay, let's get into it. David and Michelle. So David and Michelle are still being grilled by Kevin Frazier. And David sort of admitted that he was already with Madison when he had sent the infamous text to Michelle. He kind of sort of admitted it. He was like, by that time, yes, he was already having feelings for Madison and that they had bonded previously, blah, 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 blah. So he kind of sort of admitted that things were already going on between them when he sent that text. David says that their very first kiss was when they first came out as a couple at that gathering where with the rest of the cast, where, where Madison was like, "You really want to do this, babes?" So that's when they had their very first kiss. Of course, I call BS. I think that they've been kissing and hunching and doing everything else under the sun, probably starting from the honeymoon. Michelle doesn't buy it. She doesn't believe that their first kiss happened at that particular moment that he said it happened. She thinks that things were going on way before then. They talk about what does success mean. Michelle said that to her, success is being financially successful. And Michelle said that her and David did talk about finances, and Kevin Frazier asked Michelle, so when y'all are talking about finances, did he give you his numbers, like how much he's earning, how much he saved, et cetera, et cetera? And Michelle said, yes, he did. And it was very scary. For someone who lived at home, she thought that he would have saved a whole lot more money, because that was the whole point of him moving back into the basement apartment, right? To save a lot of money so that he can get his own place. So she said that the numbers were very scary. The numbers, I guess, were not up to her liking at all. And he didn't even try to persuade us otherwise. He didn't say anything. He wasn't like, oh, her idea of what's enough is not necessarily my idea of what's enough. I have saved enough for what I'm trying to do. He didn't say anything. He was quiet when she said that. So, of course, his idea of success is, whatever, love, happiness, friends, and family. He said that he does plan to marry Madison. That is his goal, is for him and Madison to get married. And David said that he is financially taking care of her. And I was like, oh, really? Mr. Basement Man is actually taking care of his woman, financially supporting her. But what he actually meant was she doesn't have to pay for anything when they go out. Okay, the fact that you're picking up the tab for McDonald's or Checkers or Papa John's, that doesn't count, David. That doesn't count as you taking care of her or financially taking care of her. But he says that he pays for everything whenever they go out. He opens doors for her, etc. That's how he is taking care of her while he's living in her house, because they moved into her house. I would have probably been a little bit more impressed if they had gotten a place together, but maybe her lease was still active, and so she couldn't break her lease or whatever. They really, 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 really want to be together, so it just made financial sense for him to move in with her. Michelle thinks that maybe age played a factor into this. Her being a little bit older than Madison, about 10 years older than Madison, her capability of putting up with bullcrap is very, very low. Whereas somebody younger who is still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and has a lot of hope and, sees the future as being so damn bright, Madison probably sees things a little bit differently. Madison is probably willing to put up with a lot more from a guy like David than Michelle is. And I totally believe that. I agree with Michelle. I think age does have a factor. The older you get, the less tolerance you have for nonsense and BS. And I think when a woman reaches a certain age and you're dating with the intent to get married, you need your man to be where he is supposed to be, not still trying to work his way there. You know what I'm saying? And there's too many men out there who are already where they need to be for you to put up with the dude that isn't there, that's still struggling, that's still trying to collect his pennies so that he can get his own place. Like, we're past that. That's like college stuff. So I totally agree with Michelle when she said that maybe age played a factor. When you're young, honey, we've all been there, done that. When you're younger, yeah, you'll put up with a lot. You put up with a whole lot of stuff that you really don't have any time for when you get older. She said that if she was 10 years younger, yeah, maybe she would be into a guy like David. David said that Madison is the one for him. He says, if you know, you know. She is the one for me. And I believe with all of my heart and soul, I truly believe this, that if Michelle were to give David the time of day, if she was to give him the little wink wink, if she was to come to him and be like, David, I am so sorry. I see things differently now. I totally misunderstood you. I misread you. If she was willing to be his little sneaky link, if she was that kind of a woman, which we know that Michelle is not that type of a woman, but let's say that Michelle had the same morals as Madison and was sending him, some little slick texts on the side, some little come hither text. Like if you don't, if Madison's going to be out of town, why don't we meet up for drinks or whatever? Trust and believe David would go running. He wouldn't hesitate. He wouldn't think about it. He wouldn't blink. He will go running if Michelle opened that door just a tiny bit for him. Moving on to Juan and Carla. So before we get into the Juan and Carla segment, I just want to say this. I saw some stuff online on social media talking about Juan is making these weird videos where he is saying that Carla's family is blackmailing him and that they're harassing him because he doesn't want to be with Carla or something like that. Her sister is like deep in his comment section of his Instagram, I think, where she even had posted a comment on one of his videos saying something like, you don't want us to go there, do you, Juan? You don't want us to reveal what we know, or you don't want Carla to talk about what you told her, to reveal what you told her. So she's, implying or hinting that there's some information or some tea about Juan that Carla has. And if Juan doesn't pipe down, Carla's going to be forced to spill the tea. I don't know, but that's what I've been seeing online. That there's this type of some kind of drama going on between Juan and Carla and or Juan and Carla's family. So yeah. And the tea that supposedly, this is all alleged. I don't know the facts or about any of this. It's just what the streets are saying. The internet streets. So the tea that supposedly Carla is threatening to spill, or that her family members are threatening to spill, is that Juan had a girlfriend this whole entire time. And this is the reason why he wasn't trying to get closer to Carla, especially getting closer to her physically, because he had, something else going on back at home the whole entire time. That doesn't really sound true to me. I don't really believe that, but that's what the streets are saying. And let's get into it. Juan talks about his lack of attraction for Carla had nothing to do with physicality, it had everything to do with lifestyle. He admits over and over again, she's a beautiful woman, I love her eyes, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't about her looks that I wasn't attracted to. It was just about the fact that our lifestyles were not in sync. He wanted, like I've always believed, I've always said about Juan, he wants a woman that's a lot like him, who is very business minded, extremely ambitious about getting the money, getting the bag, someone who's very focused, someone who is very, what's the word? Very rigid, someone who is just basically like him, who is very analytical. They have a plan. They know how to get to their goals. That's what he wants. And Carla is more wherever the wind takes me, whatever I feel like doing, whatever, catches my fancy today. That's what I'm going to go do. He needs a woman who is more the word is escaping me. Very scheduled, very determined, very like a go-getter. That's what he wanted, and Carla just wasn't it, and that just was not aligning with him. And I think I really do think that Juan was worried that Carla probably wanted to be taken care of, and I don't think Juan is of that mindset where a woman can just be a housewife, where he goes out, while he goes out and makes the money, she's at home all day. I don't think he's about that. I don't think Carla wants to be a housewife, but I think that because of the fact that she's more laissez-faire, she's more, more relaxed, more, less rigid, uh, less rigid, what's the less whatever. Because of that, he felt like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I need a woman who's going to be just as crazy active as I am. Carla knew that it wasn't going to work way back during the honeymoon. And that's when he had told her, when they were having like dinner on the beach, and he had told her that he was having so much fun with David that he forgot that Carla was even there. That's when she realized that if he can't make me a priority and he forgets about me, this isn't the guy for me. During the honeymoon, Carla said that other guys, I'm assuming she meant the other husbands, were like buying massages for their wives and doing all these things for their wives. And Juan said, well, yeah, I don't show my love, or I don't show my appreciation of you by buying stuff, by, with money. I show my appreciation, or show my love for you, or that I care about you, by not cheating and being faithful and being loyal. And Kevin Frazier stepped in and was like, Juan, my dude, that's what you're supposed to do when you're married. That's like the bare minimum that you could possibly give to your spouse is fidelity and loyalty. That's the bare minimum. That's expected. That comes with the territory of being married. You don't get kudos for that. Okay. Neither of them has any regrets about anything that they did. They wouldn't change anything. They wouldn't go back and redo anything. Both of them are very happy with how things turned out. Carla said that Juan made her a better communicator because she used to be very closed off, really wouldn't speak her mind, really wouldn't speak her feelings. But being with Juan has made her speak out more. Okay. Juan has a girlfriend. They showed us a clip. Of course, we only saw the back of her, but he has a girlfriend. He says she's from Brazil. He's very happy. And I want Juan to have second thoughts about Carla, because I think if Juan would just relax a little bit, let loose a little bit, he would have realized that Carla probably was very good for him. I think a guy like Juan, who is so regimented, is that the word? I think he needs a girl like Carla who helps him slow down once in a while and just to enjoy the beauty of life instead of constantly like keeping your nose to the grindstone, chasing the bag and making your business bigger and better and making more and more money. I think he needs a woman that's going to like remind him, hey, I don't want to be very cliche and stop with smell the roses, but he needs a woman like Carla. But he just doesn't realize it. But anyways, whatever. I wish that he would have second thoughts about Carla, but I would not want Carla to give him a second chance. Then to get all the guys out on stage, everybody believes that David is the next one to get married, which he probably will. David and Madison are going to ride this until the wheels fall off because they really have they're very determined to prove to the world that we were meant to be, and this was the right decision for us, and it was worth it all. It was worth risking everything. It was worth breaking Allan's heart. It was worth pissing Michelle off. All of this was worth it because we are meant to be. This is real love. This is true love. They are determined to make us believe that. They are determined to shove that down our throats. I think they are more focused on showing the public that they're good and that this is real than they are really in taking care of each other. Anywho, I hope that the ghost of Allan's broken heart haunts them forever. Ikatchi said he's not searching for a damn thing. He's just chilling. He's not looking for love. So he ain't looking for nothing. He's just really enjoying himself. Then the experts come out, and we see that Dr. Pia is pregnant. So congratulations to her. I'm so happy for her. And Michelle and Allan, they're the first ones in the hot seat in front of the experts. Allan says that being on the show has been a red flag for him. So when he's out there in the dating scene and they find out that he was on Married at First Sight, they tend to shy away from him because they see that, if you're on a show like that, you must be really desperate. So it doesn't help that he was on this show. But he does have a girlfriend. He is happily involved with another woman. He's in a relationship. He's happy. He's fulfilled. This particular woman, I guess, didn't see an issue with him being on the show, etc. But before he found her, these were the issues that he was facing. The experts praise Allan, and I do as well, because he really came out of this, to me, just shining bright like a diamond. Because it could have gone so bad. He could have been sulky. He could have been depressed. He could have been angry. He could have been wanting to fight. He could have come with all kinds of rage and emotions on that stage. But he was very cool, calm, and collected. He was just outstanding. Outstanding. Um, I wish we all could be like this. You know, anybody that has suffered a broken heart, not to say that he was like deeply, deeply in love with Madison, but it was embarrassing. And his friendship was broken with David. Anybody that goes through anything like this, I hope that they come out on the other side, as well as Allan did in this very murky, dirty situation. Because like I said, it could have gone left. He could have been just as immature as Ikatchi, still deep in his feelings, making really snide remarks, being very insultive. It could have been so bad, but he decided to rise above it. He decided to rise above the mess, and he came out so much better than anybody. Michelle admits that she was a brat to David. She says, yeah, when I look back, yep, I could have been a lot better towards him. I could have treated him a lot better. I was a brat. I was horrible. I didn't give him a chance. I had my walls up, very critical, very judgmental. Of course, I'm adding a whole lot to it, but I think that was her point. And she said that she did apologize to David about how she treated him. The experts dispel the rumor that they originally paired David and Madison. I didn't know about this rumor, but evidently there was a rumor out there that the experts had originally matched David and Madison, but at the very, very last minute, they switched it up and put Madison with Allan and Michelle with David. All three experts deny this. It's like, that is absolutely not true. We did have somebody else in mind for Madison, but because she refused, do y'all hear me? She refused to be with a person of color. They were limited. They couldn't match her with who they originally wanted her to be with. So they put her with Allan. I don't know if David was picking up on any of this. He wasn't on stage at the time, but they have told him before, I think at the retreat, not at the retreat, but after the retreat, when they were seeing the counselors, Dr. Pia told him straight up, we wanted to match her with a person of color, but she didn't want that. She wanted to be married to a white man. She wanted to be with a white man. And Madison says that she's dated men of color, but when it comes to marriage, she would prefer to be married to a white man. I don't know if David is picking up on any of this. And of course, people can change, obviously, right? People can definitely change. And maybe she has changed. And maybe David has made her realize that, hey, look, all of that color, race stuff really doesn't matter. I have no idea. I feel like this rumor was probably started by somebody in production. I think it was probably started by somebody in production about how they had really wanted Madison and David together, but changed their mind at the last minute. Dr. Pia said that, okay, next it was Emm and Ikatchi on the hot seat. So Ikatchi starts off by saying that Emm did not try to get to know him, which is like, what reality are you living in, Ikatchi? Because I don't know I don't know. Ikatchi, the whole entire season, you were so upset with Emm because she was asking you too many questions. Now you're saying that she didn't try to get to know you at all. So, well, what? Like, were you lucid during the season? Like, what are you talking about? You're so into your own head and your own delusions that you completely forgot about how things really played out. The whole entire season, you were pissed at her, angry at her, because how dare she ask you anything about yourself, anything about your thought processes? Why do you think the way you think? Why do you say what you say? How did you come to the whole entire season? You gave her the right, you would refuse to live with her. She's asking me too many questions. I can't put up with this. But now you're saying she didn't try to get to know you. He said that Emm never had his back. Once again, what reality are you living in? Because it's not our reality. Emm defended you. Emm defended you so much until she couldn't anymore because you showed your whole entire out there. And when you showed your whole entire ass in front of everybody, she could no longer defend you. And so the experts kept on pressing him on that. They were like, really? This woman sitting next to you didn't try to have your back? Are you sure about that? Do you need to revisit the past? You do need to show you some footage of example after example after example, how she stood by you, how she was constantly trying to make this work with you. And so when they backed him into a corner with facts, that's when he said, well, to be honest with you, I didn't want her to have my back. And now everybody can breathe a little bit better now because, oh my God, yes, that's the truth of it all. That's the truth of it all. Thank you for finally being honest with us. Now we can move on. Kevin Frazier begins to introduce Brandon, and as soon as he said the word Brandon, I mean, all he could get out was bruh, and then Ikatchi was up and out of there. He exited stage left so fast. And as he left the stage, he walked past Brandon backstage. They passed each other. And as they passed each other, Brandon held out his hand and said something to Ikatchi, like, I don't know, some type of greeting. And Ikatchi walked right past him like he was just a light pole, like he didn't even see him, walked right past him. So when Brandon sat down on stage, Kevin Frazier asked about that. Hey, it looked like you were trying to shake his hand. What was that all about? And Brandon said, yeah, because I made a bet that he wouldn't shake my hand when I offered it to him. So I guess he won his little 50 cents or whatever on that bet. So now we have Brandon and Emm on stage. Brandon said that Ikatchi, move on from that. Brandon said his analysis of the situation between Ikatchi and Emm is that Ikatchi had a beautiful queen. I was like, okay, yeah, I agree. I feel you on that. And then he goes on to say he had a woman that was thirsting for him. And he put a lot of emphasis on the word thirsting. And I was like, do you know what that word means? Brandon, are you just throwing trendy words out there? Emm was not thirsting for Ikatchi. She was doing what she was supposed to do, which was trying to make her marriage work. She wasn't thirsting for Ikatchi. And I was like, that's a very interesting choice of words, Brandon. In your eyes, the way you see it, from your point of view, is that Emm was thirsting for Ikatchi. All the things that she told you about, all the stuff that she went through, your conclusion is Emm was thirsting for that man. Because they moved so fast, Emm and Brandon, Dr. Pepper had to ask Emm is it the guy that you're after or is it the need that you're after? Basically, kind of like, in a way, proving Ikatchi right. In a way, Dr. Pepper wanted to know, are you really after him? Or are you just after the need to have a partner in your life? You just want to have somebody there. You just want a warm body next to you, whoever it may be, whatever they may be about. You're just happy that somebody glanced your way and gave you the time of day. And that's really all it is. It's not really about this person. It could be Brandon. It could be Billy. It could be John. It could be William. It could be anybody. As long as there's a man next to you, that is what you are really striving for. Of course, Emm denied that. And she started going really hard for Brandon, how this is the man for her. This is what real love is. She needs people to understand that she's making the right decision. This is all about love and they're in love with each other, blah, 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 blah. They're holding hands on stage. They're kissing on stage. And it was very reminiscent of Madison and David and their performative ways of trying to convince us how much in love they are. That's the same feeling that I got with Brandon and Emm. More so I think Emm just wants to be normal. She was just in there like, let's just act normal, damn it. And he's the one that's like all over her, grabbing her hand, bending over to kiss her, leaning over to kiss her. And it's, to me, Brandon is very, and I feel like I'm overusing this word, but I don't know what else to describe it as. He's very performative. Like he's really just trying to perform and be the center of attention and have the spotlight on him and have everybody look at him and like, oh, look at me. I'm a great guy. Look at me. I'm such a great man. I'm a good man. And I'm just like, you don't have to try so hard, Brandon. You don't have to try that damn hard. Relax. Relax. We know that you want to be with her and she wants to be with you. I might not agree with it, but we know that that's what y'all want. It's obvious. You don't have to you don't have to put it on so thick. Brandon talked about how it was a leap of faith for them to decide to want to be together. Then he said something about, I don't even know what the hell he was talking about. He said something about how one night they were having they were talking, they had like a very long, fun night. And he goes, yeah, we had a really long and fun night. He does that. We had a really long, fun night. Y'all, I was like, what the hell is this? I know this grown man, married, with kids. I don't know, they didn't even mention if the divorce is final yet. This grown man is not doing this. This type of crude gestures to indicate that him and his woman were intimate. Like, that's something that a real adult, mature man would never do. It's embarrassing. You look silly, you look stupid, and you're embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing Emm. What is this? Like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? I mean, that's just like a step away from doing the other crude gesture, like the finger in the Brandon. It was so embarrassing. Pastor Cal was embarrassed. Kevin Frazier was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. And Emm, I know you were. Girl, I know you were. But she laughed it off. She thought it was funny. Then Brandon gets up. I mean, Brandon was on 10. Okay, he was on 10. Because he's trying to shake Ikatchi's hand. He comes up there on stage. He's really hyped up. He's talking about a minute. Then he jumps up like a jack in the box and he's like, Pastor Cal, I know, I want you to marry us right here and now, because I don't want to leave this stage or leave this building or whatever without Emm being my wife. And Pastor Cal was like, boy, if you don't sit the hell down and control yourself and behave, like, who does this? Who acts like, what is wrong with this person? And I think it's the cameras. I think he's like this because of the cameras. I bet you at home, he probably doesn't even talk to her. He's like this because of the cameras, which is sad, which means that to him, this relationship is just for entertainment purposes. It's just for entertainment purposes. I bet you at home, he's nowhere near as the way he appears to be on camera. Like the way he wants to appear so loving and so in love with the man. I bet you at home, he barely gives her any attention. So Pastor Cal was like, you know what? We'll talk about this later. They asked Emm and Brandon, do y'all want to have any children? They both said yes. Brandon said that they were blessed, but they'll try again. And so the experts were like, what? Excuse me? What does that mean? And so evidently Emm was pregnant. Now let's put a pause on this right here, right now. Now, on one of the after part, the like towards the end of the season, way, I think it was probably after the episode where everybody got together for Thomas's birthday. I think it was after that episode, the after party segment that aired after that episode. I think, I could be wrong. Emm was there with Keisha Napoleon. And y'all, I could have sworn Emm looked pregnant. I could have sworn she looked pregnant. But I didn't want to make a video about it, because when you start speculating about what's going on with somebody else's uterus, I mean, you get dragged. You get dragged. I've done it before. I think I've done it twice, and y'all came for me. So I learned my lesson. Don't speculate about nobody's pregnancy. Well, if there's got something in their uterus or they don't got anything in their uterus, just stay mom, shut up, don't say nothing about it. Because I remember calling my mom and I was like, are you watching the after party? Emm looks pregnant. But anyway, so Brandon tells the experts that they lost a baby, and Emm said that she was 14 weeks pregnant. So this is after the first trimester and halfway through the second trimester, I think. And I don't know what I'm talking about. Definitely after the first trimester. And she said that she lost a baby. She had a miscarriage. And I thought that was devastating. Devastating news. Regardless of what's going on between her and Brandon, and regardless of what anybody thinks, what I think, what anybody else thinks, that baby was wanted. wanted by these two people. And it's really sad that this was, how that ended. It was very, 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 very sad. And so just my condolences to Emm and Brandon for losing their child. And I pray that if this is what they really want and if this is what they believe that they're ready for, I pray that, God blesses her womb and that she is able to get pregnant again and have a baby, beautiful, healthy baby, full term. That's really sad. M said that his kids love her. She has a relationship. She has her own relationship with his children, and they call her on their own. They contact her. They reach out for her on their own, not even going through Brandon, which is a beautiful thing because for children who are going through their parents, getting a divorce, I don't, like I said, whatever's going on between Emm and Brandon, that's Emm and Brandon. But if there's another person to love on these children, that's a win. The experts are basically like, hey, you like it, I love it. Okay, you like it, I love it. After she talked about her miscarriage, what else could they say? They couldn't go too hard on her about moving too fast and maybe rethinking it or putting a pause on this. You know, you couldn't. So, hey, they're like, if you like it, we love it. Now, the thing is, no mention was made of his divorce. Like, where are we on the divorce? Is it close to being finalized? Is it finalized? What the hell's going on with that? Brandon, to me, is he's too much. He's too much. I think he needs to be a little. I think M needs a quiet, strong man after dealing with the theatrics of Ikatchi just trying to be a performer on this show, and then dealing with Brandon, who's also trying to be a performer on camera. I think she needs a quiet, strong man who really has her, but has her in a quiet, in a quiet way. Not like, hey, world, look at me. I'm a great guy. Hey, world, look at us. We're so in love. Madison and David come back, unfortunately. I'm so sick and tired of these people. Pastor Cal questions the timeline of how everything transpired. Of course, everybody, and the reason why people keep pressing this is because people have speculations that this started way earlier than what they're letting on. It started way before the retreat. It started way before the text message. I think it started in Mexico. I've been saying that since day one. I will keep saying that until they can prove otherwise. I think it started in Mexico. So Pastor Cal wanted to know like the timeline, and David first apologizes to the experts for lying to them when he knew better, but he still lied. He apologized for that, and then he tells Pastor Cal, "I respectfully decline to answer the question. I understand why you're respectfully declining because y'all have lied so much about when this started. Every time somebody asks y'all." And he trained Madison well because Madison began saying the gym. Every time somebody asks y'all, when did this begin? All y'all can say is, well, it started in the gym. It started in the gym. It started in the gym. Y'all never give a timeline. Y'all will give very vague answers. Oh, it started in the gym, and then trying to make us believe that it really began during the retreat. Come on, it's just too coincidental that when y'all are exposed, all of a sudden, that's when we realized we were made for each other. That's when we realized, after Michelle exposed us, that we were attracted to each other. So he didn't want to answer the question. And they're like, yeah, whatever. We have our own thoughts. If you don't want to clear it up, and if you don't want to prove us wrong, it started in Mexico. So because they've lied so much, they can't keep track of all their lies. It's just better for them to not answer the question anymore. Just plead the fifth. Dr. Pia asks Madison, when did she realize that she was willing to risk it all? Madison said, when I saw him really struggle with Michelle. David says she knew I was struggling on the honeymoon. So basically it started on the honeymoon. Madison said, I was willing to risk it all for him when I saw him struggle with his marriage. David says, I was struggling during the honeymoon. Boom. Y'all began y'all's love affair in Mexico, which is fine. It's great. It's wonderful. These two to me are still, I have no respect for them. Zero respect. Because of the fact that they're still lying, because of the fact that they're very, there's no shame in them at all. They're not ashamed. They're like, hey, we saw each other. We like each other. Our marriages sucked. We didn't like our spouses that we were matched with, so we're going to be together. What's the problem? They're so braggadocious about it, so aggressive with it, so overt with it. There's like no shame at all. It's not like, hey, y'all, we're so sorry. that this is how it was, but we just started having feelings for one another. Y'all could have been upfront early on. And I don't know why the people, it's not the fact that y'all had feelings. It's not the fact that y'all were unhappy in y'all's marriages. All of those are granted justifiable reasons to want to move on to somebody else. But you didn't have to lie about it. And it's like, how much further were y'all willing to take this lie if Michelle never exposed y'all? The group comes back together again. They talk about the public's reaction to them being on the show, how mean people are, how critical people are. People are so judgmental. They're human beings too. They have feelings, blah, 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 blah. Y'all don't really know us. Okay, fine. Allan said that his mother was really hurt. Yeah, if I was his mom, I'd be pissed off too. I would be hurt and extremely angry as well for anybody treating my child like that and trying to embarrass my child like that. And he said that he had to kind of shield his mom from some of the stuff that was going on, I guess, like online, maybe even on the show. And David said it was the same thing with him. His mom was also pretty upset, and that he also kind of had to shield some stuff from his mother. To talk more about the public reaction and how, they're human too and they have real feelings. And Camille went up hard for David. Camille said, I just don't like how everybody was giving him such a hard time for living with his parents and, trying to say that he's failure to launch. And, girl, Camille, you have a stand-up guy sitting next to you. A guy who understood the goddamn assignment. Okay, he knew that he had to come to the table with something. Okay? Don't minimize how Thomas has worked hard to become the man that he is by uplifting somebody who could care less about how they came to the table. And the reason why I'm saying this is there's nothing wrong with an adult person living with their parents. They can live below the house, on top of the house, on the side of the house, inside of the house, diagonal from the damn house. It don't matter. If you got to go back home, you got to go back home. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you have made the conscious decision, and he made that conscious decision because he applied for a show about getting married, it would have been different if love just kind of sprung up on him. Like he just found himself in love with some girl. He didn't even see it coming, but he really wasn't prepared, but he still wants to be with her and marry her. That would have been different. You purposely come on a show to get married and your life is in shambles. I'm sorry. I'm gonna talk the way I feel. Your life is in shambles. And the reason why, because you're living at home, there's nothing wrong with living at home with your parents. If you're a single guy and you're trying to get yourself together and you're trying to save your money so that you can get your own house, your own property, your own whatever, great. It's beautiful. If I didn't have a husband and children, I'd do the same damn thing. I get it. But you cannot make that decision. I want a wife. I want to be married. I want to have a family, but I'm still living at home. I'm still living in my parents' basement, in whatever you want to call it, however you want to pretty it up. What do they say? You can put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. No matter what terminology you want to call that space that you're living in, my own apartment that just happens to be below my parents' house, the basement, the apartment, whatever you want to call it. It is still attached to your parents' house. And you cannot bring a wife into that abode, whatever that is. You can't bring a wife into that. What if she was like Carla and quit her damn job and wanted to come live with you? So when Camille was like, I just don't understand why he's getting so much negativity about living in the apartment below his parents' house. Camille, if a man is ready to be a husband and he's ready to take on a damn wife, he has to have his stuff together. He has to bring his wife into his home. But instead, he went from his mama's house straight to his girlfriend's house. Now, they asked Madison about that whole basement situation, and she was like, well, I understood, why he did. I understand he was trying to save his money. Yeah. And she goes, it was fine with her because he told her he had a plan, and he planned to get his own place in 6 to 9 months. But for whatever reason, she couldn't wait that long. So they thought it was the best decision for their relationship for him to come live with her in her home, in her apartment. Why not just give him the 6 to 9 months? What are y'all rushing for? Why not just give him the 6 to 9 months to get the house, the dream house that he's been saving for? Give him that amount of time to get his own place. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand. So he went straight from his mama's house to his girlfriend's house. And like I said, he takes care of her because he pays for things whenever they go out. Madison said, we're not even really at my apartment that much. He's always working. I'm always doing my thing, whatever she's doing, work, travel, whatever. So they're never really home. They talked about, what about David's style? How do you feel about his style? Because she had a really hard time with Allan's sense of style. And she was like, oh, there's nothing really wrong with his sense of style. The only thing that I critique him on is that he should buy clothes that fit him better. He always wants to wear these big baggy clothes. So he should buy clothes that fit him better, because he's got these beautiful muscles, these great muscles that he wants to show off. Allan was wearing fitted clothes. He was wearing fitted clothes. They didn't talk about David's teeth in the Invisalign. He was going to get his Then the group reminisces about the good times. They show a whole bunch of clips of them having a really good time together. Kevin Frazier asked, if you can summarize this whole season in one sentence or in one word, what would it be? They go down the line. I liked Juan's answer the best. He said it was all a beautiful mess. And it sure was. The beauty of it all was Thomas and Camille. The beauty of it all was getting to watch Carla. The beauty of it all was Allan rising from the ashes. The beauty of it all was Michelle exposing Madison and David. The mess, Madison and David. So that's the end of that, honey. But we are not done because there is one more episode left. One more torturous episode left. I need my Tuesday nights back. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.